So welcome, thanks for joining, and as usual we will start with the upcoming economic calendar. Normally I would say this will be a pretty quiet week with Thanksgiving in the US, so no trading on Thursday and then a shortened market on Friday. But there are a couple data points and then one big earnings. So on Tuesday you got FOMC minutes. Who knows what the market will react to when they parse through those minutes, but there's always a spike, at least in the market, if not a big spike. So be ready for that. Durable good orders on Wednesday. Friday you do have a lot of the PMI numbers coming out, and the forecast is for a slight decrease in the PMIs. So they're going to be kind of weakening. So manufacturing is going to slip. The forecast is for it to just get under 50. Services is going to shrink once again, get down to 53. So kind of weakening PMIs there. But I think the biggest thing that'll happen this week is on Tuesday. Tuesday is Nvidia earnings, and that I kind of think that sets the direction for this week. I don't see these data points being that big. So Tuesday, and I would assume that they're going to be reporting after the bell. So late after 3 p.m. Central Time here, and then the market will be really rocketing one way or the other. So I'm going to look now at the charts. Oh, let me see. Yeah, San Diego says Nvidia earnings. Yeah, that I think that is going to be the big one. And then Emerald, weak PMI, good for shrinking inflation. I can't say that. I'm not sure. I'm not. It's not my strength is understanding the PMIs and what that'll actually do. I know that core PCE is coming out next week, and I think that'll just have a bigger impact on telling us what inflation's really doing here. So let's get to the chart. So this is the futures contract for it's the ES for S&P. Gonna have to really drill in here because we've just been consolidating up in this range up here. And for both the ES and the Nasdaq, all I see is when they made that high on the 15th, just kind of came down in three waves, and then they made this little three-wave move, almost broke the top, and then they came back down in three ways. So it's really definitely in some type of a correction, it looks like. But I can't tell yet if they're coming down more to correct, or if that ABC was all the correction. Now that'd be a really small correction. And I have this zone because as I said in my last video, I saw this as an expanding flat down here. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this area gets really complicated because the fifth wave could be right there, and then that was just a really small correction, and then they blasted off, and then this is just another piece of the correct, so they're just going to kind of be working their way up in some kind of a diagonal format. But I thought they would at least come down a little bit more. But if Nvidia does, have great earnings, I think the market's going to take another leg higher. So I want to see one of these two levels break to give an indication what's happening. Because if it comes ripping down, then that could be this is B, and then they'll come down for a C before they head up. But if they reverse from where they are right now, then I see this as they're going to be doing probably like a leading diagonal here, because you got 3 ways down and then 3 up. And then if they do something like 1, 2, and then real strong third wave, that's going to be 3 up there, and then they'll be going up for a 4 and a 5. So right now it's in this really tight range, and it's too hard to really say exactly what this is yet. So if you're not in, I'd just be kind of sitting on the sidelines, and I think we'll get an answer probably, I would think probably Monday. One of these two, I can't see them staying within this all day Monday. But with Nvidia lurking out there, I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty explosive move, just one way or the other, and we don't know. Now, when you zoom out, obviously, we haven't had any type of correction. So I think whatever this is, either, it's an ABC up to there, or there's still going to push it, but eventually you're going to get a correction, because I mean, I can't see them taking this all the way up in a straight line. Now they could, because the one pattern that I can't look at it on this one. I gotta go out to the current contract. Is that after this ABC, and then this ABC, and then this was all correction, they could just take it up in a very impulsive manner, and then this whole thing would be A, B, and C. So that's one pattern that I'm looking at. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this is going to be a three wave move up to break 46.34 before they reverse it. So that's why it's got to really watch these two levels, because if they break this, then we could be in the start of a big correction. So that's the ES. I mean, not until one of those two levels break, 4501 or 4541, this is just, it's been just sideways, and it's just too hard to give any forecast for that. And then when we look at the Nasdaq, it's pretty much the same thing that I see. Came down in 3, and now this one, you actually had an ABC, and then it came down ABC, and then another ABC up. So now the Nasdaq to me actually looks like it is starting to create a diagonal for going up. So this would be 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then this, they'd be making the 4, and then they'll be reversing it to go up for a 5. Now, we'll have to see how strong that 5th wave is, because it has to be shorter than this 3rd wave. So if they do something like that, come up to there, then I think that'll be a leading diagonal, and then correction, and then continue on up. But if that 5th wave gets longer than this 3rd wave, this could be just a big W, X, Y, X, Z. So I want to see the strength of this wave, assuming that they even do go up. Because I guess it could also be this ABC, ABC, ABC. That's W, X, Y, and that's a corrective pattern. And then they could just rip it down here. So just like on the ES, I want to see 15,940 or 15,796. One of these has to break to really confirm what direction that we're going in. But on the Nasdaq, it looks a little bit more like they're going up. Now they did right at the end of the day on Friday, like really sell off hard. So, if they do break this 15,870 and break it pretty hard, then this ABC that could have been one. That looks so impulsive up to there. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be a deep correction, but it's going to have to like reverse like immediately. So because I don't see this as like three-way. It's not like ABC that was one and this came up as two, and I don't. So this isn't totally clear yet either. So yeah, I think both these, the Nasdaq and S&P, I want to see one of these two levels break. Actually, I mean, if that breaks, then I think we go down, and then I think that we're going to be starting a really big, not a real big, but starting a big correction, because I think, as I've been saying, after this WXYXZ, I think that was X, and so I want to see this come up in three waves to break 16,264, because that makes this most sense to me. That would be W. They came down for an X, and now they're going to go up for a Y wave. So I would think that we're going to get a correction before they break that high of 16,264. But we'll see. We've got to see. I really. That's why I think Nvidia is kind of holds the key to the next couple of weeks. Because Nvidia, after last earnings, they actually sold Nvidia off. So if you look at Nvidia, so here was their earnings back in August, and that's when they started that correction. Now see this as just a WXY for Nvidia, and so I know, I'm almost positive. I mean, not unless they're going to do WXY, come all the way down for three waves for a Z wave and then go up. That would be really ugly, but it could happen. But they're so close. I think that's why I think that they're going to go up and break their top. But if we zoom in, it's like they had just that one pullback. So I could really see them coming back down, give you an ABC, because you just have like a straight down move there. Like that's not a complete correction, but they could turn this into a running flat and break it. But it'd be nice if they would come down, give you an ABC, and then resume up. So that's for Nvidia. So yeah, I really feel like the way Nvidia goes is how the stock market will go this week. And then when we slide over to the Russell, now the Russell is actually looking very strong right now, and it looks to me like they're doing like the start of a leading diagonal. So you got this 1, 2, and it looks like, and then blast off. So that's like an ABC. Then you had this ABC, and then you had this 1, 2, 3-way move up. And then there is like a little 1, 2, 3. I don't know, that might just all be one wave down, but it could be that's 3 waves. So then you'd have, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if they come up and break 1829 in 3 waves, then that'd be a leading diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'd be very strong. And and then you'll get a correction and then one more up. And that's why I said in my last video, I think that they'll be targeting this 1862 level. But we just got to wait and see exactly what pattern is playing out. But this to me looks like they could be creating a leading diagonal. Now this so far doesn't have any. I mean, I guess there is this little 1, 2, but this actually almost looks like they're creating like an impulse. So to me, it looks like the Russell has maybe just a little bit more up, and then it'll need a correction before it goes back up. And so if the Russell is any indication, maybe it'll go up a little. So maybe the S&P and Nasdaq will go up just a little bit, but the Russell then will need a correction for it to go back up, because it's got to go up in three waves, because this has all just been three-wave stuff going on. So that's what I'd like to see, is the market give us a correction, because then we'd have a better idea of exactly what pattern is playing. And then if this happens, then you're going to get a really big correction before going up. So that's why I'd like to see, maybe it goes back up, like the Nasdaq goes back up, but then this is all just WXYZ type of correction, and then you get that big pullback at the same time that the Russell, before you resume back up to go break the top. All right, so that's what I see on those three indexes. Let me just check comments here. Emerald, at one point they were saying services caused inflation. Yeah, they did. Our PMI services related. Yeah, I mean the service. I know the services sector was causing the inflation because they were staying so elevated. And that was a real concern for Powell, was how high that those were staying up even in this higher rate environment. So definitely those are, the services is a big cause for the inflation. And they say Nvidia have more orders than they can produce. Yeah, that's what they've been saying. Perhaps they will have a good earnings. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That that's what they've been saying, that they can't keep up with the demand. Now logically to me, at some point they will catch up, and then there won't be the demand because everyone will have the chips that they need. But that's what they've been saying, that they can't produce enough right now, and there's back orders and whatnot. So that's why I think this quarter is going to be good. But their last quarter was good too, and it sold off. So who knows how the market will react? They'll start front running that the surge for Nvidia chips will start to slow down, and so that's make the demand for Nvidia slow down, and so people start front running that and start selling off now. So who knows? But I do believe that it's going to be a pretty strong move one way or the other after that earnings report. San Diego, what about silver? You see it going to 25 soon? Well, let's take a look. I'm going to look at the 2 and 10, but we can take a quick look at silver here. So let me look at what happened. Oh, so they did break that high. So yeah, in my last video I said they were just underneath, right around 23.2 or so. And I said that this looks like an ABC, came right into this support zone, and they should be going up. And they did come right up to that resistance and get rejected from it. So to me, I think this is 3x3. I mean, it will be going up to break 26, because this is all correction. And what I see so far is there's just this three-wave move here. That's W. You had this triangle, that's X, and then here's a three-wave move. And so W, X, Y, and now this looks very much like 1, 2, 3. So for right now, I could see this being done. And the problem is that because this was a WXY, this could be the X wave. They come down one more time for a Z wave, break that 20 level, and then go up. Because this without a doubt is a correction, not the start of downside. So it's just a matter of are they going up from here to break it, or they got one more down before they go up? And I think that could very well be in the cards. So what you want to watch for silver, yeah, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like they made a diagonal here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this wave will be done now. That could just be A, B, C, and then that means that they're going to go up. If they're going to go up, it'd be in a diagonal. So either way, it's going to pull back. It's either going to pull back and go all the way down, or if this is going to be the start of a diagonal and this is 1, then you're going to get a 3-wave correction for 2, and then reverse up. So this wave coming down will tell the story, because if it's just a simple 3-wave kind of into that zone, then that could be 1, 2, and then if it starts to reverse, come back up, and then when they break 24.14, if they make a 3-wave correction down and then they come back up and break 24.14, then you're looking good that this is going to be a diagonal for upside to go break 26. But if this really comes down, especially if they give a 5-wave move, then you'll get a correction and then still more down, and then they're going to go break that. So this wave coming down will tell you what silver's going to do. And it looks like they already started. Yeah, they've already started. It looks like you got right now it's just a little 1, 2, 3, and this almost looks like they're just kind of correcting 4 and 5. So you're going to get like a little impulse, then a correction up, and then down, and then this is when things will get interesting, because that'll be 3. You have to see how strong this is and how far down it goes, but when it gets down into this 23-ish range, if it's really selling off, then I'd be a little worried if you're going long. So, but like I said, I do see it, potentially coming down to break 2066, but boy, under there, that is going to be a perfect entry to start looking to go long. Emerald, I believe gold and silver usually bottom in December. Okay. Well, if that is true, I could then definitely see this playing out 3 ways, and then probably would be in December then at some point. And if it does, I mean, wow. Let me go out to a daily here. Yeah, I mean, anything under 20. Actually, then over here, I bet they would target this 1988 level. But I mean, anything in that range, you got to be looking for a buy setup. All right, so that's silver, and then let's just take a quick look at the bonds. So I've been saying that I thought that this 5th wave, it needed a correction for one more up, because I thought, they've been making this diagonal. So here's a 3-wave for the 1, 2, 3. And I thought this was all just a leading diagonal. Now it could be that I got it wrong, and that is the leading diagonal. They corrected, and then they went up. So it could be that the 5th wave is in, but still the invalidation point is this 4607. Once that breaks, then I'm wrong that they don't have one more wave to complete the fifth wave before the big correction happens. So and it looks to me like I'm wrong actually. When I zoom in on this, go down to a 2 hour, it looks like they're starting a leading diagonal. So I got ABC, ABC, and then now this came down real strong, corrected, gave you a little 3-wave correction, but then it came down in 3 waves. Or it looks to me like that's 3 waves. I mean, it could be maybe. Let me zoom in just for a second here, guys. Not unless this is like a little running flat here, like that's the correction, 1, 2, and then this is 3, 4, and that's 5. I don't, it's possible, but if I'm right and this is 3 waves, this can't end in 3 waves. So, and this came up so strong that it looks like they might be making, they might be making a running flat here. So this is what I'm watching for. That if this plays out, then I think they're making a leading diagonal going down. So let's watch this. So if this happens and they come down and take out, now actually I need to move this line over here. So now that's the low. So if they come down aggressively and take out 4798, then this is a running flat. Now they could, let me look at this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, it looks like there's 5 ways up there. So if this does correct though, it maybe comes down a little bit more, but then they go back up and they break that high, then this isn't a running flat. So in between these 2 levels, 491, 479, you know, that's because it could be then, I think that's 1, that's 2, and then this is just going to be the 1, 2, and then 3 will be coming down here, and then you're going to be starting a leading diagonal, and then they'll be taking out that point, which means then, oops, this whole 5-wave move up is now going to be correcting down before it resumes back up. So if you follow the bonds, you know, these are 2 very interesting levels to watch, 491 and 4798. If they come down aggressively from where they are right now, then I think they're in the start of a big correction on the 2-year. Okay, let me see. Emerald saying we're seeing signs of deflation, which is good environment for gold and silver. Come January, I believe gold and silver should do well. Yeah, that's what the chart looks like to me. They might have one more correction, but they're both just in the correction. Gold should fall alongside the dollar. Yeah, and that's what I see. I see the dollar needs. I think the dollar actually. Well, it's gonna have a little. I know you watched my Friday video. The dollar, I think, it's got a little bit more to go on its current drop, but then there will be a correction, and then I think there'll be one more fall. Begins to look like a bear flag on the 2-year. On the dollar? On the 2-year? My chart doesn't go back far enough.